Before we even start thinking about organizing our payday, we need to know where we are right now. That means you need to know what you're actually getting paid after tax, after any other deductions, what is actually landing in your account. Because we cannot make a plan on theory or predictions, as when what we get doesn't align with what we plan for, the whole thing falls apart. And for my variable earners, that's those of you that work in hospitality, retail, or are contracting, what is your minimum possible amount that you could earn in a month? That's either looking back at the last 12 months and pinpointing the lowest income that you had, or going back to your contract and working out your base rate and your minimum contracted hours. From there, that is the figure you need to work with. Any extras like bonuses or tips, do not include them, as we will deal with them separately. Right, so now you have your accurate payday amount or your lowest possible income for my variable earners. Now we can start your payday system. The first payday rule is the non-negotiables. Your non-negotiables are all the things you need to pay for to survive in 1 month. I call this your survival number because if you do not pay this, it will lead you to being in arrears for important bills like your rent, your council tax. And these things, when you miss it, they will start going to court, they will add extra fees, and we don't want you to be kicked out of your home or ended up in court paying off a massive fine. And if you don't know what your survival number is, refer to this video here as I explain and break down what this includes and what it actually is. So once you've understood what your essential costs are to survive 1 month, these need to be coming out within 24 hours of your pay. So your payday comes in on Monday, all your essential costs ideally should be coming out by Tuesday, latest Wednesday. This prevents you from eating into your survival number. Not only have you got a system where you're paying off all the most important bills, and the great thing is you can set up direct debits and standing orders, and you can pick the dates that these come out. Now, I understand that people that have varied pay dates, this might be a little bit more difficult, and in those cases you probably want to work with within 1 week of your payday, as it can fluctuate. Whereas those that generally get paid maybe on the last working day of the month, the last Friday of the month, again, pick a date, a week within a date that will fall similar every single month. And for those of you that get paid on the same day every month, you can then guaranteed that if you got paid on the 29th, on the 30th, all your standing orders need to be going out. And the great thing about that, it takes out all of the physical process. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to think about it. You don't need to remember anything. You don't need to set any reminders. All you need to do is set up the standing order and the direct debit one time and then let the system work. Doing this also gives you a psychological benefit of having that peace of mind that regardless of what happens for the rest of the month, you've paid off everything you need to pay. And you don't have to worry, do I have enough money to pay my rent, which is due on the 16th or due on the 20 something? You know, after the first week of the month, everything you need to pay has been sorted. And that alone is a massive step forward. And if that's the only thing you do, that's progress. And this isn't about being perfect. This isn't about getting this right the first time. This will take time. We've been living a life where we've been working with our money in a certain way. So we can't expect that doing something that's completely the opposite, it's just going to happen seamlessly. But the great thing is you have this video to keep referring to keep coming back to, and take one step at a time if you need to. Maybe this month you only do this thing, and then next month you add in the second thing. Or you do all 3 in 1 month and you keep reviewing. However is comfortable for you. The whole point of this system, it works with real scenarios, with real people. We're not robots, we all have different circumstances. And I would love you to leave a comment below so I can get to know you guys and understand what approach you chose to take. So rule 1, the non-negotiables, all your standing orders, all your direct debits are set within 1 week of your payday, if it's variable, or ideally 24 to 48 hours of you being paid. Payday rule number 2 is your saving move. And this also needs to happen within 24 to 48 hours or a week if you have a variable payday. Now, saving amounts will vary from person to person, depending how volatile your variable income is. There's going to be months where you probably only get to save £5, and that's fine. The whole point is each month you're saving something. Ideally, as we've discussed before, we're starting with the lowest possible income. So your automated saving amount that you will transfer within 48 hours or a week of your payday will be from that lowest amount. If you do have extra, then you will manually add that in. What we don't want to do is put any actions that require you to each month have to do it, because then it's more likely you're going to have a month with no motivation, or you're going to have that temptation not to do it. So that standing order needs to work with your lowest possible income. And if that's £5, that is fine. There is no shame in it. Even if it's just £1, it's better than nothing. So payday rule number 2 is you will set up that standing order to go in a different pot. You don't want your saving money to be with your spending money, because what will happen is you're going to spend it. So either create a saving pot, which is a feature a lot of our banking apps have, or open a bank account without the debit card and just have it to transfer money into, and you're not tempted to touch it or use it. A lot of people will save what's left. Saving first gives you a little bit more guarantee that you're actually going to save consistently, where saving what's left means that you need to have something left. And most likely than not, you will spend all your money before thinking, oh, let me save at the end of the month. And the rewarding thing about this is, yes, it might be £1 now, but imagine in a year's from now, you'll have a consistent growing saving fund. And another thing with your saving move is your buffer. And this is amount you will slowly build over time that will act as your emergency fund, that will help cover your essential cost in rule number 1, just in case anything happens. Maybe there's a closure, so you're not getting a week's wage. Maybe you're ill and there's no company sick pay. The reason for your buffer is to stop you getting stuck in that advance cycle or stop you from taking out loans. Your buffer is that cushion between your unexpected bills and your core payday money. So along with your savings of £5, you want to set up a secondary pot that says buffer or emergency fund or whatever you need to call it, that you will also create a standing order for as little as £5, £10, whatever you can confidently stick to every single month on your lowest possible income. And a lot of financial anxiety and stress comes from the uncertainty, not knowing, and ending up in situations where you feel that you can't get out of, or being in a hole that only seems to be getting deeper. What I want for you is to start relieving that stress and anxiety by starting to build a softer foundation for yourself to land on. You're thinking about your finances, and it's not an easy thing to do. And if you do feel guilt and you do feel shame, you are not alone. There are so many people that are living paycheck to paycheck, not even making it to payday with money left in their bank. And what I want to do is get rid of the stigma and have us talk about it, give each other help, advice, and tips, and start spreading financial education more. Payday rule number 3. What's left is yours. This is the amount you have to spend on yourself, guilt-free, shame-free. Whether you spend that in 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or it lasts to the month, or you have some left over, that amount is yours to use. And it's important that this number, that you know this number, because a lot of us are spending with no ceiling, and this is a specific number, you will feel a sense of control. When you're walking around the shops, when you're going in the cafes, when you're going out on a night out, you will have that number at mind. You will see where it is at the beginning of the month, and you will see where it's at the end. And there's so many different ways you can keep track of this. And you can create another pot called spending money to separate it from the rest. You can take the cash equivalent out, obviously keep it safe. And once the cash is gone, that's your spending got done for the month. So you can physically see it going down and start being cautious or be a little bit more intentional on what you're spending your money on. You can even open a spending account, and when you're tapping that card that it's all free spending. You're not eating into your essential bills, you're not eating into your saving money, and you're not eating into your buffer or emergency fund. And I will go deeper into these different rules separately in future videos. And now, to take what's left even a step further, you can split that amount into 5 subsections that will give you even further control on what areas of your life you're overspending and underspending on. Another thing, something I used to do, is we recognize that payday is coming and we start already planning what we're spending the money on. So you have a basket full in Amazon, you'll have a basket full in Shein, and your money hasn't even landed in the account. So as soon as it lands, it's all going to these things that you've already planned to spend your money on. Where with this process, it will hopefully stop and think and say, let me see how much I have left over in my what's left category before you start spending hundreds of pounds on baskets that have been preset weeks before your payday even comes in. So the first thing is knowing actually what comes in your account, which in this example will be £1,500. Then your non-negotiables, which is all your essential costs to survive in 1 month, which we will say in this occasion is £900. We then need to allocate money to our buffer and to our savings. So to the savings account, we're going to give £75. And to our buffer account, we're also going to give £75. And that will leave £450 for us to spend on whatever we choose to. Now, for my variable earners, you have tips, you have bonuses, you have overtime, commission, and what you probably will likely do is just put all that extra in what's left. Now, it's not sensible, and now it would be lovely if we could just do that. But what we want to do is improve our financial situation. And one way of doing that is not having our good months as extra spending money, but using it to protect our lower month and build a bigger cushion quicker or pay off debts quicker. So we need to start thinking about allocating that extra bonus overtime tip money into overpayment on your debts outside of your minimum payments, extra money being added into your buffer and savings before we start adding it all into what's left. Now, I will create a video also about this and dive deeper into this and actually go through step by step what this will look like. Your lowest amount that you get paid is the most important amount, because this is what your plan is centered around. And if your system is based on your lowest possible income, then anything above that is extra, is a bonus. Most people will do their plan and their system on an average month. And then when you get the lowest, you will stop paying certain things, or you will miss direct debits, or you will just give up the whole thing because you will feel like it doesn't work. Starting with your lowest month just gives you that protection, and it just lets you know where your base actually is, rather than working with the average that can fluctuate month to month. And from doing this, maybe for the first time, you can get halfway through the month and think, I'm going to be okay this month. I'm going to be fine. Because you can confidently say that all the important things that you need to do with your pay has been handled. And that's everything. And thank you if you've got to this point. I know it's not a subject that we all like to go into. It's not a subject that we want to even sometimes face. And maybe just watching this video alone has sparked something for you. And if it has, then I've done what I've wanted to do, because I myself have gone through periods of not facing my finances, ignoring, going through the paycheck to paycheck cycle and struggling in silence, in shame, and in guilt. And I don't want that for you. I've gone through all the trial and errors, and now I've created a system that actually works, that I'm using to this day. And I want you to be in the same place where you can look back and feel, wow, I am now comfortable with my financial situation, and not be in that kind of loop of running to get to a job where you're earning more money to only be in the same situation because your system is not working. Money is not going to solve your problem if your foundation is not strong. So, to recap what we've gone through, first important thing is know what your lowest possible payday amount could be. Payday rule number 1 is your non-negotiable. Pay all your essential costs within the first 24 to 48 hours. And like I said, if you have a variable income day, within the first week. Have it all on direct debit or standing orders so you don't have to think about it, and your emotional state will not affect what's coming out of your bank. Payday rule number 2, your saving move. Set an amount that coincides with your lowest possible income that you can do every single month. Set an amount for your savings and set an amount for your buffer or emergency fund. Again, have that come out of your bank within 24 to 48 hours of your payday, and have it as a standing order, because what we don't want to do is take out all the actions that we can, because as humans, we live life. Things are going to happen. We're going to get busy. We're going to go through bad times. We're going to go through good times. And what we don't want is to break the consistency. And doing the standing order will help prevent that. And payday rule number 3 is what's left is yours. Actually putting a number on the amount you can spend for the month on yourself, on whatever you wish to. And then splitting that up into 3 to 5 categories to make it even more controlled, and understand where your money is actually going and how much you're actually spending in each area of your life. And the most important thing of all is keeping all of this separate, not having all your money go into one account and then tapping away and all of it come out. Separate your survival number from your buffer, from your savings, and from your what's left money. Keeping these separate, you can then keep an eye on what's growing, what are you struggling with, and another thing about my system is all about adjusting. Things don't need to stay the same. This system is to be reviewed and changed with your life, because our life doesn't change the same. Our work won't stay the same. So a system needs to be flexible so we can keep using it regardless of what's happening in our day to day. For the payday that's coming up, I want you to spend 20 minutes mapping out what you're going to do on your next payday. And I would love to hear how it's gone. I would love to hear what you struggled with, what you found easy, what helped, what maybe you need more information on, and what you comment will guide me on what videos to make that will give you more value, as that's what I want to do. I want to give you the most value, the most information I can to help you manage your finances and actually take the actions. To work out your survival number, along with a few other bits that I've mentioned, I've added a free PDF in the description below that will take you through some of the elements step by step. And like the video if you found it useful, and subscribe to become part of a community of people that are finally facing their financial situation, and to make sure that you don't miss any of our key videos coming up. And share the video with anyone you feel may need this or may find some value in this. My next video will be handling debts on a variable income. Different methods, but are more sustainable. And the goal for all of this is not to feel rich on your good month, is to feel secure on your worst one. And remember, stability first, real life always. And until the next one, I'll see you soon.